record. Maybe I should stay.
I got it. We're recording.
Okay, good. Okay, guys, I know there's some people that haven't muted yet. If you came on and you just haven't muted yet, mute your line a little bit. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to come on and share with you guys tonight with Janice. I just want to update you on some things. If you have not listened to Brandon's weekly webinar from yesterday, it's phenomenal. And it's posted on the Team True Blue Facebook page. If you don't have that, just text me. I'll give it to you. It was great. I presented at Dr. John Huey's last night, and I learned about how to do the presentation about 3 hours before that. So you guys can see, if you can see this, Janice will appreciate this. She knows my chicken scratch. This is the notes I took from and any of you that have been on the phone with Brandon, to have him on the phone more than 15 minutes is a long time. And I had him for 40 minutes, and he gave me his presentation. And when I got done, I was like, well, that's your launch call. And that's your three-way phone call, but an expansion of it. So when you're thinking about this, and I'll just tell you, my wife is here. Everybody at the meeting said it was the best presentation they had ever heard me do. What's that, babe? Okay, that's good to know. And so, and people just really liked how it went. And I'm going to do a webinar in the next couple of days and record it. I'll be honest with you, I used my notes on a PowerPoint and people liked it. I didn't know how it was going to go over, but it went over really well, and it kept people excited. And we had 2 people sign up, and another guy's, I just got a text today, and another person's signing up tomorrow. So it's proficient, it's duplicatable, and it was fun. And so I'm excited that volume is up. People's businesses are growing. I believe we've got, this year and maybe a little bit of next year before we hit momentum. We were talking about it. Brandon and I were talking about it again yesterday, just the things of where we're going and what we're doing. And most of you on here tonight are why it's so much fun to be a part of this. And I took this John Maxwell course, and Janice, you'll be proud of me. I took some time and I took some time. I haven't done today's yet. I'm going to do it every Friday instead. And I did the law of the mirror, and like what Janice is going to share tonight, and used it for a whole week. And I constantly looked at myself in the mirror a lot. And I'll just tell you that I'm sure after Janice is done teaching you tonight that you'll be looking at yourself in the mirror a lot, because I can tell you this, Lisa and I did it together. And honey, can you do me a favor real quick? Can you bring me your list of, hold on, I see it. Never mind. I want to show you guys something really cool. So I'm gonna praise my wife for just a little bit. Can all of you see these names on this piece of paper? All right. She's in here looking at me, so I'm showing this to you guys. This is almost 100 names. And my wife is doing her first, and there's names on the back. So she is doing her first launch call on Monday with Brandon Cunningham. So, yay! And she's crying and laughing right now, which is awesome. Because let me tell you something. I wept. There's tears on this paper when she left it for me to look at this week. And those of you who know my wife, she's a leader in everything she does, and she's just going to knock this out of the park. And so I'm looking right at her across the way, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that a lot of you that know her know that she's been involved since the beginning, and now she's ready to hit this running hard, and I'm excited. We took a marriage counseling class last weekend, and they challenged us to hug every morning and every night for 30 minutes. So I got an extra bit of hugging. You probably have to mute some people, Janice, when they come on. If you came on and you haven't muted yet, just mute your mic, please. Okay, there you go. Thank you. So I got an extra 3 minutes of hugging yesterday from my wife when I saw her list. So I'm going to go ahead, due to time-wise, I'm going to turn it over to Janice now. Janice and Glenn Hayes live in Powder Springs, Georgia. And I've known them. Janice are we getting close to 2 years now? Is it getting close?
It's over 2.
Okay, so it's over
2 years last November.
Awesome. So time flies when you're having fun, right? So I'm just going to tell you, they're 2 mentors of mine. You know, we've been in this from the beginning of when they joined. I went up there probably a couple months after they joined, and 1 month after you joined. Wow. Okay, that's awesome, because they were doing proper behavior. They were going to meetings, signing up for convention, taking the steps that it took to be consistent. And if there's one thing I've learned about this personal development, the law of awareness, the law of the mirror by John Maxwell, is that he's teaching us to be better leaders, but he's refining a lot of things that we've learned along our journey of our LifeVantage business. So, Janice, I can't seem to mute my mic now since I turned it over to you. So you can mute it for a minute, and if you see me wave my hand, and I may say something, but I won't. But go ahead.
Okay.
You can mute it away, okay?
All righty. Will do. Well, thank you. Oh, Michael, you're still talking.
I can mute now. Okay, good. Go ahead.
Are you good?
Am I muted now?
No. You want me to mute you, or are you going to mute you? Okay. All right. So, hey, everybody. Happy Thursday evening. This has been a wonderful journey with John Maxwell that Michael and Glenn and I are on, and I'm sure Lisa's learning as well, because it's a fun thing that we get to share with each other as we grow. But this week's topic last week's topic was the law of the mirror. And that's what Mike wants me to talk about. And I'm so excited because it fits with everything that we believe is so important in life, period, not just in network marketing and in LifeVantage. So what I want to do is, first of all, as an introduction, I want to talk about why the law of the mirror is so important. First of all, the law of the mirror is all about our self-esteem. It's about, what do we see when we look in the mirror? What do we believe about ourselves when we look into the mirror? And one of the things that I find over and over again in talking with new distributors, new people in network marketing, but also in everyday life when I encounter people in my counseling rooms, it's a battle, and they feel like it's a losing battle. They don't have a clue how they can change their self-image. They feel like their self-image has been given to them by life and by the people around them and the events of their lives. But I'm telling you that's not true. I'm telling you that that's a lie from the pits of hell, and that our self-image really is under our control. And that's what we want to talk for just a few minutes tonight about. One of the things I love that John Maxwell said in teaching this concept, this law to us, is that your self-esteem is actually a cap on everything that you try to do. It puts a cap or a lid on your success, on your expectations, on your life. It puts a cap on what you want to believe, what your legacy is that you want to leave to your family. And John Maxwell says that it is, in fact, the most limiting factor in our belief foundation about our business and, again, our life in general. What we believe about ourselves. You know, we've all heard, well, if you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, then you're right as well. Well, all of that keys right back down to, what do you believe about yourself? What is it that you yourself know is true What is true about me? So what I want to do is just go over very briefly with you all the concept of the law of the mirror. And I'm going to pull up for you the document that, there we go, that John Maxwell gave us in terms of our notes. And I haven't filled this in, and there's a reason I haven't, because you all will learn more if you write this down yourself. And if you're just sitting there reading what I've written, then that all you're doing is one sensory thing. You're taking it in with your eyes and maybe with your ears. But if you're actually writing this down and taking some notes, then you're going to actually hold on to this a little bit longer. So what is involved in the law of the mirror? Well, first of all, you must see value in yourself in order to add value to yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I have value. I know I have value. God created me. Of course, that's our faith system, Glenn's and mine. God created me to have value in this world. I have a purpose in this world. And then you move on to, well, how well you lead determines how well you succeed. Well, I know a lot of people that will say to me, well, Janice, I'm not a leader. Well, I understand why someone might say that, because they don't see themselves as a power figure. They don't see themselves standing in front of thousands of people. But leading is not all that. Leading is all about living your life well. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, about making choices and just modeling what is good behavior. That's what a leader does. They model good behavior. And you will always move to the level or the lid or the cap of your self-image. So move right down to a reflection statement. We're looking at the mirror. And we're looking at what we believe about ourselves. And let's say it's a scale of 1 to 10, what you believe about yourself. So let's say that you only have maybe a 4 in your self-image, okay? Well, it's impossible to consistently behave as a 7 if in your head you really only believe you're a 4. You're limiting yourself by your self-belief. You're limiting yourself by your self-image. So if we want to raise up our level to match our self-image, then we have to believe that we really are a 7. And we're going to start acting like a 7. I know when Glenn and I first got involved with LifeVantage, one of the things that we believed right away was we are going to model and act like an elite distributor, because we have to believe that we are capable of that and we can do that, and start behaving in a way that reflects that belief system. If you only believe that all you can do is a Pro 1, you're limiting your potential. You're limiting what you can do. So when you look in that mirror, that self-talk that you have to yourself is, you know what? I'm capable of doing this. I just have to do some of the steps that it's going to take to accomplish it. How we see ourselves determines how we invest in ourselves. And that is so true. One of the things that John Maxwell said, and he's a very humorous speaker to listen to, he says, people will come up to him all the time and they'll say, will you sponsor me? Will you sponsor me? And he goes, no. He says, why don't you try sponsoring yourself, and then I'll be happy to join you and support you in sponsoring. But see, he wants to see that they believe in themselves and they're willing to invest in themselves. Take a bet on yourself. I bet I can do this. And then set the goal for yourself to try and accomplish that. Our belief in ourselves influences the belief that others have in us. Let me read that again. Our belief in ourselves influences the belief that others have in us. How many times have we talked about that what we do every day is just try to transfer belief? And if you're passionate about what we have, you're passionate about the products that we've been given, and you transfer that belief to the people that you're talking to, then they have the opportunity to believe in it too. But if you're just kind of, oh, you're apologetic and you're very quiet and you're just, well, maybe you might want to, they're like, they don't believe in that. So they must not be a very good product, must not be a very good opportunity. We have to express that belief in ourselves that we made a good choice when we decided to do this. We made a good choice when we decided to take Protandim every day for the rest of our life. We know that. We believe that. So those are some of the foundational concepts of self-image. But let's talk about what are the steps you've got to take to change your self-image, okay? So here's a couple of things of how to approach the mirror. And I know this is what Mike was talking about, that he's doing every day. First of all, you guard your self-talk. John Maxwell says, if you're not talking to yourself, you're in trouble, because all you're doing is listening to what everybody else says about you. So you start talking to yourself, telling yourself. A lot of times when I'm counseling, I give people a list of who they are in Christ, and I say, put it on your bathroom mirror, and every morning say those things out loud to yourself in the mirror. So you see yourself saying it, you hear yourself saying it, you're speaking it out, and it's all being reinforced in your mind, the positive things about who you are. One of the speakers that was an addendum to John's teaching said that the most powerful tool that we have in the English language is the two words, I am. Whatever you put after those two words becomes the determination of your future. I am successful. I am competent. I am a good leader. I am a good listener. I am. But if you start saying the other I ams, you're going to believe that too. I am a failure. I really can't do this. I am not successful. I am not made for this business. I am not a network marketer. Well, golly, all that negative self-talk, trust me, it just eats away. It erodes at your self-image. So even if you may not see the manifestation of that positive self-talk, you are reminding yourself that that's who you are becoming. Another thing that John Maxwell said was, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. Now that's important in terms of adding value to people. If we do the right thing every time, whether it benefits us or not personally, but it adds value to someone else's life, then we are going to increase our self-image. We're increasing our own self-value, because we know in our heart of hearts that doing the right thing is more important than doing the easy thing. Add value to people's lives, even if it's a hard thing at that time for you to do. And he has so many stories, and I wish there was time to tell you all of them. But really, if you think about your life, you think about your days, you have choices every single day that you can make. Always choose to do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. Every day, get a win. It might be a little win. So you say, okay, I'm going to set a goal that I'm going to reach out to 5 people today. So what if you make 5 phone calls and you get 5 voicemails, or you get a no, that person doesn't want to talk to you, and you go, man, this just didn't work at all. Wait a minute, you had a victory. You set a goal to make 5 phone calls, and you made 5 phone calls. That's a win. So you've got to celebrate every victory that comes your way. And that's what one of the other speakers said as the addendum, as he was saying how important it is to celebrate the small victories. He says, if you don't take note of your victories, it's because you're comparing yourself to other people. And that's another really negative aspect of self-image, is when you're constantly comparing yourself to others instead of looking at who God created you to be. You are a unique creation of His. There is no other person like you. He's given you your unique gifts. Use them and make the most of them every day. He said, be prepared. We hear that all the time. And that just means that you're always feeding your mind. You're always being discerning. You're always looking around at all that's going on around you. Use your mirror to look at yourself, not at others. Now, what that means is, if we look in the mirror, we should be looking at who we want to become. We should not be looking at our mirror and then seeing behind us all of those people and what we think we hear them saying about us. That's not what's important. What's important is what you believe about yourself, who you're going to become, the changes you're going to make so that you yourself can become the best person ever, the best person that God created you to be. We see others not as they are. We see others as we are. Now think about that. That sounds a little complicated. But one of the things that we have a tendency to do is to superimpose perceptions on everything that we see and everything that we hear. And we start to filter everything with, oh, I think this is what they're thinking. I think this is what they are saying. I think this is what is probably happening. And what John Maxwell is suggesting is, if we see ourselves as successful, as we see ourselves as having value and worth, we will look at everybody else as having value and worth. If we see ourselves taking shortcuts and not doing the right thing, as we look at others, we will be assuming that they're doing the very same thing. So we want to see others for the positive aspects that we want to be projecting to them, to try and ensure that that they are getting the best, the very best of what we have to give. And the other aspect of that is, John says, when we're talking about seeing others not as they are, we see others as we are, is he says, how I see me is how I'm going to lead them. How I see me is how I'm going to lead others. If I see myself having worth and value, then I will lead others as if they have worth and value. And that shouldn't be an if. They do. Every person has worth and value. And it's very important for us to be the ones that project that onto them. You can all read the key takeaways, which is just a summary of what I've said so far. If I see myself as a 3, it's impossible for me to consistently behave like an 8. The most important words that you hear every day are the words that come out of your mouth. And again, we see others not as they are. We see others as we are. But there's a couple of other points I quick want to make to you all before I turn the call back over to Mike. And one is, I want you to remember that we all have the power of one. We cannot change anyone else. We can only change ourselves. And how we change ourselves is making a decision to change how we think. If we change how we think, we're going to change the output. We're going to change the outcomes of what we do. Perception has got to shift. If you really want to empower yourself, read empowering information. Change the perception of what you see, that you're going to thrive. Do not sacrifice your future to self-limiting beliefs. Many of you have watched Steve Harvey on many different YouTubes. If you haven't watched Steve Harvey do the YouTube of Jump, I highly recommend that you do that, because what Steve Harvey is talking about is, if you don't take a risk, if you don't try, you will never ever know what you can accomplish. And you will, by all means, stay exactly where you are. What have you got to lose by making changes in what you think about yourself and how you perceive yourself and what you read and how you invest in yourself? What you have to lose is being stuck where you are or trying something new. If it doesn't work, it's okay, because you've tried. That's a victory. And it's going to help move you to the next level. So the last thing I want to show before I move off of this and give it back to Mike is one more thing. And most of you have seen this. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you, but be honest and sincere anyway. With what you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten, but do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. So I hope this was of benefit to you all. And I appreciate very much, Michael, you giving me the chance to share. And I'll turn the call back over to you.
Awesome. Very good job. I went through my notes here. I've kind of filled mine out, and I have my little notes. I'm gonna say one thing that I took away from this in my notes that Lisa and I made extra notes in it. It says, John said, this is so good. If you're still taking notes, you can write this down. And a lot of you have asked for the PDF of this. I'll give it to you. If you need it, you can just email me. But here it says, preparation relieves anxiety and builds self-confidence. Wow. What a powerful statement. Preparation. So if your business is not doing, or your life is not doing what you feel you should be doing, it's a lot for me. I just know that what I took a lot away from this session was not just looking at myself in the mirror, but preparation, preparing for what's ahead. For those of you that know, I'm coaching this year, and I have both the boys and girls program, and no coach has ever had both the boys and girls programs. And so I have to be prepared. And so preparation has taken away anxiety for me. So I hope that you guys were encouraged by what Janice just shared. I'm super encouraged. I'll be honest with you. I'm excited to do this next session. What did I just see it was on? I looked at my email, Janice. I'm sorry. Forgive me for, okay. The law of consistency. Now think about that. The law, that's funny, right, Ken? The law of success. I'm talking about being prepared, and then I had it right here in front of me. I just didn't pick it up in time. So the law of consistency. And I haven't talked to Janice with this, but I'll probably rotate back and forth with her. I will be doing the law of consistency next week. So I'm going to leave you guys with this because it's 9:29 and I want to get off of here. If you've not watched Brandon's webinar from last night on the Team True Blue, you can message me and I'll get it to you. It was phenomenal. And as I said, in the next couple of days, I'm going to record a webinar with the new way of presenting that he taught me in a 40-minute conversation yesterday. That was kind of fun. And I didn't even know that he talked about it last night on the webinar. I was watching it today, and he mentioned our conversation and some things that we learned that we're putting into action. So my encouragement to you guys is, hey, February, there's a lot of incentives out there. Brandon talked about them on his webinar yesterday. Extra $400 or $500 here and there. You make Pro 3. I know a lot of you can use that extra $500. I don't know any of you that can't. If you can't, you can always give it to me. I'll take it. So I'm honored to be a part of LifeVantage. I'm honored to be a part of your lives, and I'm grateful that I get to share these opportunity conferences, leadership webinars with Janice and other people. And so, Janice, thank you so much. Thank everybody for being on, and you guys have an amazing weekend. Let's go make February the best month of our business. I'm super excited if you can't tell. I've lost 18 pounds on this new physique plan. Somebody said to me today they could tell in my face, and I looked at some old pictures of me, and I'm like, right, Janice, you can really tell in my face, yeah. And I think if I didn't have this, it would probably be even better. But everybody kind of likes this too. But hey, it's all good. So I'm just kidding. I'm just funny tonight. But hey, I got to be right. I'm prepared. So I love you guys. I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing weekend, and I will see you next week. All right. Great job. Thank you. Please, recording permission from the host. Oh, you have to give me permission, Janice, to stop it from recording or whatever. I think.